Hello, my name is Ian, and I like using the silly handle of the Hi-Fibrarian. Welcome to um, a first ever video, which is going to be joining in on the 2026 vinyl tag. Uh, kindly, kindly, the questions for which were written up by David Atkinson, I believe, in the UK. Thank you so much for putting time into that. Yeah, so I'm a long time appreciator and viewer of other people's content in the vinyl community, and yeah, I often hear about how like doing a tag and such is like a good way to get started, and I just been seeing a lot of people doing so and enjoying that, and I've been enjoying a lot of you know, lots of different channels over the years, and yeah, so it's finally time to start doing it, I think. To follow up, just a quick also about me, again, is I'm Ian. I am in Seattle. I am a librarian by trade. That is where my silly handle comes from. Also a practically lifelong fan of music and musician. And yeah, let's get to it, huh? So good to be here. Glad to meet you all. So here's our question number one. Show your best vinyl or other musical format purchase of 2025. For me, that has to be The Magic Bow, Michael Rabin, Hollywood Bowl Orchestra, Felix Slatkin. I think I said all that right, correctly? Yes. Wonderful record. Beautiful music, beautiful sound. This is a very clean first pressing on Capitol. And I got this near the beginning of 2025, and it was a thrift, and it's always nice when you come across things like this. Share your favorite live musical experience of 2025. Well, I think that would easily be in April of 2025. The band that I play the drums in had the very fortunate opportunity to open up for Swami John Reese of Hot Snakes, Rocket from the Crypt, Drive Like Jehu fame. Fun show, and yeah, again, just such a cool opportunity to open for his group. That was a lot of fun. It was about a month after one of our guitar players. We lost one of our guitar players due to illness, and yeah, it was a great experience though, in that we had a very old, good friend and musician who's always played with us. Flew out to Seattle from where he had where he lives now, to play to fill in on that guitar role for us. So there was a lot of elements to it that were really cool. But yeah, and then my runner-up for this question is about a month after that, on my birthday, I got to see the Jesus Lizard, and that was really fun too. Your vinyl record collection in 10 years' time, is it bigger, smaller, or about the same? Explain why. I think mine's probably going to be about the same. It's not like it's not a heavy revolving door kind of collection, but stuff does kind of come in and out. If I pick up a lot of stuff from around shops, or I do a lot of thrifting. I'll oftentimes like grab stuff that's cheap that I don't know and want to give it a try, and so stuff does kind of end up coming in and out. So I do think that in 10 years, if anything, it'll be about the same, maybe even bigger, because who knows, maybe someday I'll live in a house where I have more space. Speaking of houses, number 4, you move into a new home. You play one record turned up to 11 to announce your arrival. What is it? Well, for me, it is going to be... Maybe this is a silly choice to some people, but it's Elvis Aloha from Hawaii via satellite. I chose this because um, this being turned up to 11, I think would be very, very fun because of how bombastic it is. I'm a huge fan of Ronnie Tutt, the drummer, in Elvis's band at this time. Some of my favorite drumming on, or particularly live drumming on record, definitely is on Showcase here. And also, I've been looking for it forever, but there's a dress rehearsal of the show that's even a bit looser than this already is. And there is an LP release of it, and I've never seen it in the wild. I've heard it and I love it. But the other reason I chose this is because my spouse and I had a Las Vegas elopement with an Elvis impersonator, and it was just like one of the funnest things ever. And so I think this is, since my family, I'd be moving with my family, I think everybody would really enjoy putting this on. Show 2 albums, one each for your favorite male and female singers. Why these two? I'm not sure I can say that these are like necessarily like be all end all favorite singers, period, but a strong contender in the male category for me is Mr. Isaac Hayes. Love his voice, love his songwriting, and he's definitely in there. In the female category, for me, it's definitely Judy Sill. This is her debut record on, it was on Asylum. I think a lot of people out there who are into music and records are probably into Judy Sill, but really, really cool. Kind of, I think kind of like Laurel Canyon adjacent kind of stuff. And I would love to have, I don't own a copy of Heart Food, but I really want one. This is an awesome, we're actually going to come back to this one later. We like to have fun here. Show your top 3 soul or dance records. Definitely a few of mine that I pulled for this. I have literally had dance parties to Dirty Mind by Prince. Love this record. What more can you say about that? I really love the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack. Great dance party album. Great stuff. And number 3 that I chose is definitely C'est Chic. Is that right? Anyway, great stuff as well. Moving on. A real stinker. Nominate a track you hate from an album you love. Why the hate? I wouldn't go so far as to say that I hate this song, but I definitely think it's a weak link on an otherwise awesome classic record. I'm talking about A Man Needs a Maid. This song starts out so strongly, but then just like, I don't know, the orchestration comes in and there is longing for someone to do his dishes, and like, I understand this song from a vibe perspective, but yeah, not one of my favorite tracks on an otherwise great record. Hopefully that didn't offend anybody. If you only had to pick one album from each of the last 6 decades, what would they be? A couple of these were pretty easy for me. Of course, it's challenging no matter what to just pick one record from a decade, but the 1960s, I have to do the White Album. This is 1970s Japanese pressing. Sounds great. This is a really nice copy if you ever come across it. The 1970s was the hardest for me. I almost wanted to cheat on this and just say that I would take lots of records that all came out in 1974. For whatever reason, has a lot of records that I love. But this record I eventually narrowed it down to because it ticks a lot of boxes from records that I love that came out in the 1970s. In the idiom of like rock music. Supertramp's Crime of the Century. This is the old Mobile Fidelity. Sounds awesome, and I'm running out of time. This has turned into a multi-parter. Okay, the 1980s. I'm picking Hopefully this doesn't turn into like 3 or 4 parts. For the 1980s, I'm going with Hounds of Love. Not too hard of a choice for me. Amazing stuff. For the 1990s, also not too hard for me, for a few reasons. Yeah, this one right here. Let's see. This is a mid-2000s European pressing. It was cut from tape, and there's a lot of consensus around that this is about the best sounding cut you can get of this. It does sound amazing. It's like, I remember when the night that I got this, we were really cranking it, and it's like being at a show. It's like that kind of like impact. It's great stuff. This also came out when I was an adolescent, and just like talk about a formative musical offering, like for a little a young person. Yeah. Anyway, there you go. For the 2000s, I have chose this record, Parallax Error Beheads You by Max Tundra. I love this record. I love Max Tundra. He's a British electronic and pop musician and songwriter. This is just like a masterpiece of like melodic and compositional invention and uniqueness, and it's just very, very good. For the 2010s, funny enough, I couldn't locate a record in my collection that had like its very first release in the 2010s, which is kind of crazy, but not that crazy. But I did find this. Ursula K. Le Guin and Todd Barton, Music and Poetry of the Kesh. This was the first ever LP reissue of this. This only had a cassette release originally in the 1980s. And this is a very neat and interesting, like, kind of invented ethnomusicology. Worth checking out. Let's see, where we are now. You get the opportunity to spend a day alone with one artist, walking a mountain trail, the beach, or hanging out in the city. Who would be that artist? I think for me, definitely a contender would probably be somebody like Jeff Lynne of ELO and Traveling Wilburys, etc., etc. I've always been a fan of his songwriting for quite a long time, and his production, and he just seems like a pretty genial dude to like spend a day with talking about music and stuff. So I think that would probably be one of my top choices. What would be your must-ask question? I don't have a good answer to that, so maybe for another video. Show a record that contains a track that always brings a tear to the eye, or are you a heartless bastard? I'd like to think that I'm not a heartless bastard. What I've picked is particularly the second movement from Ravel's Piano Concerto in G. This is the version with the soloist Alicia de la Rocha. Beautiful piece of music, no matter who's playing it, and go listen to it and feel things. Show 3 albums from artists you've tried to love, but you're questioning why you bother. Well, if I don't love the artists anymore after having tried, I don't really own the records. And I also don't want to I don't want to dunk on artists right now on this video too much. I guess I already did that a little bit earlier, so yeah. And then I guess consequently the next question about albums from artists whose character disappoints you. Yeah, like there have been artists where I've owned their records and then like found things out about them, or have come upon ways that they've maybe behaved or spoken in public now, present day. If we're talking about maybe legacy artists, for example. Yeah, I just don't hang on to their records anymore because it just like I don't know. So ultimately, I guess I do have a little bit of trouble separating art from artist. A lot of the time. If you had to sell all your vinyl along with your record player, show the one album you would hold on to as a keepsake. Well, here comes back the Judy Sill by Judy Sill debut record. The reason I would keep this as a keepsake is this was just an awesome. This was an awesome record gift gifted to me by my spouse. She knew about. I had known about Judy Sill's music before, but never owned anything. And this is a cool white label promo, and so there's like kind of that element to it, and it's fabulous. It'd be sort of hard to replace, and it was given to me by my love, so you got to go with that. Discuss your VC highlight of 2025. I don't know. Probably like the discovery. It was my first time doing a video in 2026, so probably the discovery of some more recent. Maybe not. Well, not everybody's like super recent, but anyway, discovery of like even more channels. And I think I'll talk about this too with another question down below. Last like year or two or so, I've definitely discovered some channels that aren't as old as some of the oldest channels that I began to watch. And yeah, like it's, I guess just that like people are always, there's always more and more people out there with great, interesting taste in music and things to recommend. And so it's always nice that like, in 2024, 2025, I can still come across people here on YouTube or elsewhere who have such valuable information and taste to share. So name your favorite musical biopic if you have one. I do not have a favorite musical biopic. I do enjoy music documentaries, but not really a big biopic person. Give 3 reasons why jazz matters and show a favorite album. I think it's pretty clear, why jazz matters. It is I'm not a, I don't know. I don't want to wax philosophical about it too much, but here you go. I'm going to show one of my favorite jazz records, though, and that's this one. Song from My Father by Horace Silver. This is the Blue Note classic version. Particularly when we're talking about the hard bop idiom, something I've really, really grown to appreciate are the beauty and or naughtiness of like the themes that are present between the soloists. And this is a record where that's just like really, there's really cool stuff going on there. And so that's why I chose this. You're an innocent man or woman on death row. Give your one last musical request. What do you ask for? Well, I don't know if this is I don't know if this is the case on all pressings of the record, but a friend of mine has a pressing of Rain in Blood by Slayer, and the final track on it, Raining Blood, does end in a locked groove. And so kind of piggybacking on what other people have said about like the length of the piece or the last piece being a locked groove, that's my choice. Sell your favorite artist to a new listener. Show one essential album and explain why they should make time for it. My perennial recommendation for people looking for a record would be the debut record by Jules and the Polar Bears called Got No Breeding. It's on Columbia. Jules and the Polar Bears, kind of like an artsy new wave rock band. This is like just a really, really neat kind of power pop-ish record, pop rock. Jules Shear is a really interesting songwriter, and he has a unique singing voice. And the playing is really good and energetic. It's from the late 70s. Part 3 of my video is coming. It's going to be short. Oh boy. Yeah, so just to wrap up, Got No gotten a reading by Jules and the Polar Bears. Something I really enjoy is power pop and guitar pop from the 70s and 80s, and I think should definitely fall in that sort of pantheon of best records in that vein. Anyway, and then so the final thing is you're arranging a VC meetup in 2026, excluding those you've already met. I've never met anyone, as I am very new to this. Invite 3 people you'd most like to meet. I would love to meet a fella by the name of Derek Higgins. He is one of the oldest, I think, as far as like how long he's been around and making videos. And I started watching his stuff ages and ages ago, and got some great recommendations, and for records to look into. As a musician, I just think it'd be really cool to meet him and talk about records and music. Similarly, in that vein, I believe his name is Greg Arnold, the owner of Flowering Spikes Records. In recent years, I've gotten a lot more into classical music and classical records, and his channel has definitely been a great resource for that. And then there's a lot of others too. I believe also another relative newbie who I believe is probably also a musician as well and a record collector. I think his name is Tim in Berkeley, Fantasy Roundabout. Anybody who would want to meet up sometime and talk about records and music, I'm all for it. So anyway, thank you again for your time today, and I got some ideas for other videos I'd like to make in the future. So thank you, and I'll see you soon, and Happy New Year. Take care.